Hello and welcome back. Today is the 6th of January, and this episode, probably number 6. I forgot.
Actually, it's number 7.
Number 7.
I was going back, and yesterday you said it was number 5, and it was number 6.
Well, tomorrow is number 8, so maybe it's number 12. We'll see. But today, it's been a long day, mostly because I was at work all day and it was long. But I did get to get some stuff done, and as I was looking back, looking at my to-do list for the day, I was kind of thinking, this is a good thing to bring up. It's something I've been doing for a while now, the last couple of years, but how I prioritize the tasks on here. So what I do is I it's called the Eisenhower Matrix. I heard it sometime in college, a long time ago. It's a productivity tool. Basically, you have urgency on one axis and you have importance on the other axis. So the top right quadrant, I use that as top priority. Those are things that are important and urgent. The second quadrant, top left, those are things that are urgent but not as important. The bottom right category, bottom right quadrant, that is important but not urgent, and then the bottom left quadrant, that is neither important or urgent. So one of the ways to think about this and what is a good practice if you have a team or if you have a lot of tasks to do is obviously you got to get those important urgent tasks done first. Like that's priority number one. Second, you have those urgent tasks. They're not as important. These are things that you can delegate. Um, so if you have a team, or if you're using AI, or if you're using whatever outsourcing tool that you're using, that's something that you can delegate. Quadrant three, important, not urgent. These are things that you want to schedule in because it'll be easy to forget about them. So these are things like that'll move the needle in the long run, but they're less of a pressing matter. It's not, no one's going to notice if you don't get it done this week or in a certain time frame, but it's really important to do. So those are things that you want to put a lot of emphasis on deliberately tackling. And then number four, non-urgent, non-important. Those are things that you could really just get rid of. Just knock it off your checklist. You don't need to do it. So that's what I've been using since college, and I found it to be really useful. I will probably continue to use it until I find a reason not to use it. But as I was looking through my tasks earlier today, that's kind of what was going through my mind. Just come to the realization that this is a process that was put in place a long time ago, and now I'm seeing that I'm continuing to use it, and two, it's been useful. So if I just had a long list, then it probably would have been a much different pace that I get stuff done, or at least what's important. I feel like I've talked a lot. What do you have to say?
Yeah, I mean, if it's on basically what he said, but I would say that if it's on your list of things to do and it's like priority number 4, you know, you don't have to necessarily cut it out, just delegate it. Find a way to get someone else to do it.
But at the same time, you're wasting the resources of the other person. If it's not important, it's not urgent, what is it going to benefit you for? Like, oh, we got balloons. How is it going to benefit you?
Yeah, I suppose.
Because if I have a team and I'm telling them that
Not important, not urgent. I got you.
they need to go paint the walls orange, and there's no reason to it. It's just we want orange walls because I like the color orange. Then that's wasting my team's time.
Hmm.
Now, if you tie it into the mission and say, um, we're all going to be much more productive with orange walls. Productivity is
Have you
going to
ever,
increase by
have you ever,
10%.
have you ever told someone to mop the pavement outside?
I have not.
That would be a priority 4 task,
That would
but
be
somehow it becomes urgent to do.
somehow. I think maybe it's a learning tool. I don't know. I'm
So there
not
you go.
I'm not in the Marines or Army, so I've never had to do that. But yeah, that's a great example of what number priority 4 would be, or even just things that are like side tasks. Like it's not important. It's not going to push the needle, but it's going to maybe do something beneficial. Um, let's see. For example, something that I've thought of.
Renew your car tags. You don't need those.
Yeah, don't need those. I'd say that's probably a 2. Not even important. It's just urgent.
Yeah.
No, I think it's more like. Let's see. What is an example? So
Mailing your grandma a happy birthday letter.
I don't know. There's things like, because I go through my list of to-do lists and I'm like, why is this on here? I I wrote it down because it's something I could do, but it's not going to help me. It's not going to push the needle. There's no urgency on it. It's just a task. And so something to get rid of. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the matrix that I've been using for the last couple of years, and it's proven helpful for me. I'm going to probably continue using it until I see a reason not to. So now I've shared that wisdom upon you. Do with that what you will.
Okay. Any major goals you're working on?
I have a ton of major goals I'm working on.
What's the next priority step that you're working on?
Okay, so um, the app, that's priority number 1 for me right now. Um, what I want to do is get to the minimum viable product as soon as possible. Um, so right now there's a lot to nail down. I feel like there's stuff that we can take out really of what we currently have.
Things that we
To
consider a number 4?
No, not number 4, but number 3. They're important and we want to get them in there, but to have a product on the table, we can remove some of the fat, some of the excess muscle, we'll say,
Yeah.
to get the bones. We don't need the muscle yet. Let's get the bones, and then we can add muscle, strengthen from there, go to the gym. Once we have a person skeleton, so we're in the process of developing it. We're still working towards it, working hard. This is a number 1 priority. So all the excess time that isn't spent on the podcast, which I would say is a priority number 2, um, quadrant 2. It's urgent, but at the moment, it's really just for us to build these communication skills, to put this in the background so that later on we have something to come back to and to build upon. So the app, I would say, is priority number 1.
Yep.
What do you think?
I said it's pretty good.
Yeah, so I mean that's just a way I can implement this Eisenhower Matrix on into our conversation topics for today.
Right.
What else you got?
Not a whole lot today. Today and yesterday and today have been a grinding day. So it's basically still using Monday.com. So I use that and just writing down all of our processes on it, writing down all of our tasks. And that took a little bit today. That took the whole day actually. And then uploading some of these videos because it's my first time doing it. It took me a second to figure it out.
Nice. Yeah, I was doing a little bit of reading too before we got on this podcast, and the chapter was it's still Russ. It's all in your head. Chapter 11. It was about steering your own boat, so being the captain of what you're putting together. But more detailed, it was talking about taking control of every aspect of the boat. So what he was talking about was so he's talking in terms of music. He's saying record the the music, hold the camera, um, do the business side of it, and the real purpose behind that. I was playing devil's advocate in my head, and I was thinking, well, you don't have time to do every single part of what you're doing. But the purpose behind it is because you need to understand what goes into every aspect of it. So you need to understand what the accountants are looking at, what the accountants are looking at when they're telling you that these are your numbers that you have to hit or you're going to be in trouble. You need to understand what the marketing managers are talking about when they're saying it's going to take me 6 months to develop this strategy. If you have been on that side where you understand the marketing, you understand the finance, you understand the accounting, you understand how to film, upload the videos, then when you hire somebody or you outsource, you're going to understand that what they're telling you is BS. It's not accurate at all. Or maybe it is accurate. I don't know. But if you've been there in their shoes, then you can tell them from experience and not just from thought, from what you think without having seen it. And he's got a quote in here. It says it's like a poem. It says, "Held the camera once or twice, and I edited too. When I speak, it's from experience of every shoe." So I mean, I just said it because it rhymes, but it's kind of what I was just saying. Speak from experience by being in the shoes of each hat that is part of your business. So that's something that's important to do. It's really easy for us right now because it's just us
Hmm.
making it. Down the road, it's going to be more important for us to be able to understand the different aspects of it. So we're building the foundations now, and we're sharing with you the experiences. He was telling you it took him all day to figure out how to film, upload, balance out the volumes, work these project management systems. And this is something that we're going to be able to push into when we scale down the road. And these tasks are on different people. We're going to be able to speak from experience when we're communicating, collaborating, and dealing with the experts in those fields.
That's right. I mean, you pretty much know exactly what someone else, you've been in the other person's shoes when we come to that point. So you would know exactly how long it's going to take or how long it should take. And so that would be helpful for later on when we do have a lot of more moving parts.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to read that chapter at first because I was thinking the whole time, like, you don't have time. It's better to just outsource these things that are taking up the majority of your time. But then I had to put a different hat on. That's why I got the Santa hat. If you're not watching the video, I had to put a different hat on to put it in a different perspective and find that. But yeah, that's all I got for today. Anything else?
Sounds good. No, that's it.
Cool. Well, we'll
Till
see you
tomorrow.
tomorrow.